Tonight we have Holding Hands with Anne, and this is a celebration of the life of Anne Frank. We have two parts of the exhibit. The first part is the Bandage Project, which has collected 1.5 million bandages to represent the 1.5 million children that were murdered in the Holocaust. And bandages were selected because they come in all shapes and sizes and colors, and they also represent healing. And our students wrote a child's name who was murdered in the Holocaust, and they were added to it, and the 1.5 million was reached in the beginning of June, right before Anne Frank's 90th birthday. The other part of the exhibition is the panels, which came directly from the Anne Frank House, and it's called Anne Frank, A History for Today, and it consists of the life of Anne Frank along with what was going on in the world while she was a young girl and while she was in hiding all the way up to when she passed away in Bergen-Belsen.
There have been a lot of wet eyes leaving these doors tonight. I think it's very impactful. I think that seeing kids have just become inspired to read and to learn more about it through the exhibit, I think is worth its weight in gold. I think that's really what we're going for, and having history be alive enough for them to see the importance of it.
So these are Photoshop artwork.
The docents, 5th and 6th grade students, are the ones that are doing the tours. They're just being part of peer teaching, which is really empowering for them, and it's just really powerful to hear it from children, for them to understand the impact of this.
Our docents were trained directly by the personnel from the Anne Frank House. They flew here from Amsterdam and trained our docents for 2 days on how to be a docent. They learned extensively about Anne Frank and really how to handle material like this with people of a variety of ages. Even adults don't know much about Anne Frank, and so it's a sensitive topic, and you really have to have some special training to do that.
So Anne Frank, she really inspires me. I'm just so honored that her diary was kept safe, so now we know from a child's perspective how it was and how anxious they felt.
One of the docents brought me over to some of the artwork on one of the tables that was inspired by a quote. And then she showed me her favorite one. And I've now seen all of the artwork, and it's my favorite one too. It's a message from Anne. It starts very dark about how horrible the world has turned, and then she brings it around and says, yes, but I still believe everybody has something good inside.
And yet when I look up at the sky, I somehow feel that everything will change for the better, that this cruelty too shall end, and the peace and tranquility will return once more.
And I thought, if we had a world of people who recognize that truth, then we could turn around the world and make it a place where something like the Holocaust would never happen again.
It does make me sad because I am Jewish, and so I was thinking to myself, wow, if I was in the 1940s, this could have happened to me. And I just feel so sad for all those people who lost their lives, and the Holocaust shouldn't be forgotten, but should never happen again.
As all educators, our goal is to just continue educating our kids, for them to know what happened in the past, for them to keep that in their minds, for us to do better.
So many of our students have really been excited about learning about history and learning about Anne Frank, and really identified with her as just a regular girl who had hopes and dreams, and really did not know what was coming, in the days after, the last entry in her diary.